morning, everybody. Sorry we're a little late, but we had to figure out how to do the video this morning. So thank you for being patient with us. Okay, I think we're ready to start. Boy, we got watchers already. Boy, we're up to 94 already. Boy, you guys were really raring to go this morning. Sorry. These are some of the things that Penny is going to be coloring, and she is using the Woodgrain stamp, and it is called
Floral Bouquet.
Floral Bouquet, and it's only $7.99. So it's such a great day.
It is.
Good morning, everybody. Okay, I think we're ready to maybe talk about some new stuff.
Show new product. All right.
We don't have very much. We got a lot of freight in. These are the new things that we got in.
So my favorite things, this is the all occasion scripted greetings, and it's $16.99, and you get 8
lots
sentiments.
of fun sentiments. Happy birthday, thank you, get well, sympathy. They're all covered on that set of stamps.
I like the font.
Yeah. Now, we've been out of happy birthday dies, so I ordered several different fonts. There's a lot. These are all from Creative Expressions.
I got one more.
So we have, let's see, we have the big one, and then we have more of a
plain two separate fonts.
Yep, two fonts. This one here has the shadow. This one is scripty font, and those are all online under Creative Expression dies.
Nice variety.
We're restocked on happy birthday.
And in case you're late.
Okay, we got you covered. Belated birthday wishes.
And then, if you get a birthday greeting, you can send your thanks.
Or a gift. Okay, so those are all the new. Now, they're not new, but restocked. Now, these are new. And
I'm liking this.
Is Jennifer still here? No. I think Jennifer is doing a video.
I think so.
On this.
Yep.
These are brand new from Hero Arts. They have the stamp and the die, and that is a
Does this
frame.
go with it? Oh,
I think so.
The floral border fancy die.
They're called, I think they're all called fancy floral.
Flowers in vase.
Okay.
And flowers in vase.
And it has birthday wishes, love you, sending smiles, just because, miss you, thank you, get well. So that would be a very versatile stamp set too.
And they could do some of Kelly's dauber technique from yesterday on those flowers.
Yes.
That'd be a perfect.
Or Copic.
Copic, absolutely.
I can't talk this morning. Whoa. Gracious. Might be an interesting morning. So this is all the freight that we have to put out. Lots of fun restocking items. And if there's anything that you would like to see throughout the video, just let me know. The Let It Be collection from Graphic 45 is about gone, but it has been reordered. And we want to thank everybody for yesterday. We had a tremendous, very busy day. We had 2 items for 22% off, and everybody got a lot of fun product.
And I got my 11,000 steps in.
Yes, I think we all did. Yep. So we want to thank all of our great customers. And we are memory bound in central Iowa. It is very, very, very cold here this morning. I think it was probably below 0. And it's not going to warm up much today.
Nope, and snow tomorrow.
So it's still winter here in Iowa. Okay, Penny.
All right, so Kelly found this stamp set and she fell in love with it. And so we said, let's color. And it's got thank you, happy birthday to you, with love, and from me to you, and a little flower up there. And I really like the way it stamps. So I stamped it. It's a really clear image, really nice.
For $7.99, wow.
Yeah, and it's a great bargain. And so I thought I would start off simple, and I challenged myself to color it only using 5 markers.
Ooh.
So this is the first example.
Nice and springy colors, wow. It's sunshine in Florida. Yeah, thanks, Crystal.
Yeah, well.
I think maybe the sun is shining here.
It's sunshine in Iowa. It's just 0.
I want to look at the thermometer.
So I used G43, BG11, YR02, R81, and then YG01.
And I just turn those around and hold them, and then they can take a shot. Okay, so these are the colors that Penny has used, and most of them are upside down.
Yeah, I'm working on it here. Is that better?
This one.
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
Take your screenshot.
These are the colors that Penny used on her first card.
So I kept it really simple, but yet I did do a little bit of shading. You will see here that I just colored up, and then I colored down, and then I colored down some more just to get some texture in there, so it's not just plain coloring. So then that's going to be a little bit darker by nature. Then on this one, I did a little of the extra coloring up so that it was darker on the bottom, lighter on the top. And then I wanted to tie the rose color into the bottom, so I just colored the middle part of the vase. I did the same thing with the YR02. I did a really light coat, and then I colored a little bit extra from the top to add a little bit of that texture and that depth. Then I colored on the bottom. Basically
really
just colored.
Wow.
If you can just add some more color to the dot areas, the designer has basically told you that might be a shadow area or a darker area. So just add some little dots. It'll add a little texture, add a little depth of color, and just kind of keep it simple. I mean, you don't have to like fret over it. I wanted to go with like a yellow and a green, so I chose these colors purposely. And with the lighter yellow-green 01, I did the inside just really quick. And then I feathered with the green, and I kind of came down to approach the yellow-green. And then I did a wash over it to kind of blend them more together.
Wow. Gorgeous colors.
Yeah, and I just 5 colors, and I just tried to incorporate them throughout the whole thing. I used the blue on the table, and I used blue in the flower, and then on the top of the flower, and just a little bit of a hint of the blue on the inside of the top of the pink flower. So just have fun and try different things.
And this is where you could use any color.
Yes.
As you will see in all of her samples here, she used a multiple of colors.
So on the next example, I tried to limit the colors again, but then I wanted to add something to the background. So I used the Distress inks that matched, and I just did the regular smoosh on the platform, and then add water, and then paintbrush, and then just flicked the background. And I used a stencil so that there was still white around.
So it's like a masking.
Yeah.
Great idea.
And
What black ink did you use to stamp?
I always stamp with Memento ink.
Okay. And we are currently out of this, and it has been on back order for a little bit, but we are trying to get it back in.
So again, limited colors. And then I Copic colored the mat to match the vase. And then I had just a little swish, so then I added the sentiment on it, so I knew that my colors would all tie together.
And Amy, that is true. You can have one color and make it look like 2 or 3 different colors just by coloring it,
Yep.
and it makes it darker.
Yep. So I used the mask idea on this one, and this one I used oxides.
How fun is that?
And I just, swirled the oxides on the paper, and then I stamped the image on it so that the black would be on top. And again, I used my memento.
So you didn't color any inside the line?
Not inside the lines. Now, outside the lines, I went and was able to match the pink with the distress or the oxide that I'd used, and then the purple, a little darker, but that's okay. And I also splattered water on it, so you'll see some of the texture on it.
I love that.
And I just matted it on purple, and just something else that you can do with it.
So you don't necessarily have to just color in between the lines. You make a background and then color or stamp over your background.
Yeah. Now this one, Kelly had given me a preempting of what she was doing, so I tried it. And I tried the oxides around in the flowers, and it gave it a whole new look.
It's really a chalky
look.
It is a different look. So this is
distress, and this is oxide.
Cool.
So,
and again, you don't have to necessarily stay in the lines. You can see here where she colored outside of the lines, and it's a cool effect.
Now, this was just distress ink, and I just stamped it on a full 4 by 5 1/4 inch. But it made me think that I really liked the masking, because I do like that white edge. So I wanted to kind of show you the difference. Now, if you had a colored card base, you could still have a little bit of a border since it's 4 by 5 1/4. But anyway, just something else for you to think of.
So you can make the same stamp and make them look entirely different.
Yeah.
By doing all of these techniques that Penny has shown us.
This is just an idea to remind us that we want to add a little shadow underneath it to ground our objects. And this was just random coloring, just another idea.
Your fingernail polish matches the blue. And she did that on
Woo!
purpose.
Yeah, I did. Now I wanted to give you another idea, because I'm trying to think outside the box. So I stamped a half image, and then I thought, what would it be like if we just left it black and white? So just a simple, elegant thank you card. I stamped the right half of the image on the left part of the card base, and I added just a little sparkly ribbon. I added a little sparkle to my black background, and I really like how it turned out.
It is very elegant. Excuse me.
Got a tickle.
I do.
Okay, then I wanted to show you, and I'm going to actually demo this a little bit, how we can use our Copics to do some non-blending techniques. I really like the pink and the yellow, the blue and the yellow, so I thought I would just take a second and show you that, because it's really not hard. So I've got my magnetic Wendy Vecchi Make Art Station, and I've put some extra Copic paper on it. And I've put my magnets down because I don't want to damage it, but yet I want the freedom to move my image around to be able to color it.
And we are currently out of those, both the 12 by 12 and the 6 by 6, but they have both been reordered. So if you would like one of these. It's Wendy Vecchi Make Art Station. Just call the store and we can get you on the list.
All right, so we're going to start with the 2 blue, yellow, and the little bit of green that's inside. So I started with my darkest color, and that is BG49.
BG49.
So that's a blue-green. And what I did was I turned my image so that I can get to the outermost tip of the petals of the flowers. And I flicked in, and I get right up on my tip of my marker because I want some of that texture lines. And then I just did it to all of them. So that's the first layer. So that's the BG49. And I just did the 1 flower. Then I'm going to go back a color and I'm going to go BG45. This is a lighter shade, Neighbor. And I'm going to start down on the tip and I'm going to pull the color a little bit longer using the tip. So automatically I'm getting a darker point of the flower, and I'm going to bring up that lighter color, not really caring.
Wow, that is so pretty. Those colors are gorgeous.
Yeah, I really love the blue greens. Then I thought, I wonder what would happen if I used a yellow, and I chose Y08 because it's a bright yellow. And then I did the opposite. I started at the top of the flower and I worked down into the blue-green. And automatically, you know what happens when we mix yellow and blue? We get green.
Wow.
So you have some texture of the flower, and you've got 3 colors. You've got that blue-green, you've got the green from the mix of the yellow and the yellow. Then if you want to blend it but not lose your texture, I took my BG02, which is a lighter version of the blue-greens that I had, and I just kind of worked it one more time. And that kind of softened a little bit. And then I could figure out maybe how far up the petals I wanted to go.
Wow, that's really cool.
So that's...
Love that. Look.
That's one combination that I will save and I will use for other things. If you wanted to lessen the yellow, you can take your colorless blender and you can push some color away from the center and push it back, and you probably won't see much of this on the video. Oh, you can see it. Mm-hmm. You can see the difference between this half and this half. It's really subtle.
When you find a combination that you like, do you write it down?
Yeah. So when I first color images, and you'll see this is a mess.
Oh, this is her notes.
I make notes on this, and then sometimes I'll just put an X on it. I don't like it, and then I'll just save them because it's the color combinations that I really like.
That makes it.
And I use scratch paper all the time. And
wow, look at this.
I want to see, well, does this, if I start with this color, okay, there's my first color, then I'm going to use, and I know these 3 go together. This is what I would call my mid-tone, and that's that BG45. And then here's my BG49. So I know they go together.
So those 3 colors are beautiful.
And you can go back, you can add more color, you can bring that dark color back out. But that's how I kind of play around with different color combinations. You know, I don't like that one. And so that's what I do. Sometimes you just have to put it on the image. So I was messing around with the RV02.
Penny has a few Copics.
Yeah, I have a few. And my RV06 and my RV04. And then I brought back that Y08 because I wanted to try it with pinks. So I did the same thing with this one. I started with my darkest, and that is my RV06. And on this one, I outlined the flower. I don't always outline it, but for some reason I did, and then I really liked it. And I'm not going to go very much. Get way up on the tip so I can get some fine lines going. And then I'm going to put it down real quick. I'm going to go to my RV04, bring it up a little bit more. Grab my O2.
So if you have Copics, you really just have to sit down and play with them. Figure out what colors you like together, what colors go good together.
Start at the top of the flower.
So she's using
Work back down.
yellow now.
It's my, I forgot to put it down. That's my Y08 that I used in the last
three
one.
colors she's using now.
Now I washed that whole flower because I wanted it more orange to go with the greens better. But then it was like, kind of taken away from the pink. So then I went back to my mid-tone, my RV04, and I brought that back. I don't know if you can notice it. I saw a glistening spot right there as I was coloring, which means I could have a blob of color happen and then ruin the outside of my image. So I immediately take off the other end of my marker so that the ink will be pulled back through the barrel.
Interesting tip.
That has saved me more than once.
Okay, so say that again.
Okay, so if you are coloring and all of a sudden you see a really shiny spot, that means that the ink has pooled down here and it's going to, like, I don't know, blob out. And so when a blob happens, you have two choices. You can throw away your image, you can fix it using the colorless blender and push the color back in, or to avoid it, you can undo both lids and continue coloring. And then it'll even out the ink throughout the barrel.
Good tip.
So anyway, now we've added yellow and we've added pink. We have a little bit of texture. And for some reason, I just really like that combination.
They like your nails. The color is really pretty. It goes with everything she's coloring today.
Oh, shoot. That's too funny. All right. Then the trick is to get the right lid back on the right marker.
Yes. And that's a must.
That is a must. So that gives you ideas of using non-traditional combination of markers so that you can create new and different things.
Awesome. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, I did this card and I did half of the image, and then I wanted to show you today a wood grain. So like putting something on a table, or you could even put this as a wood floor.
Interesting.
And so that's my example. And so we're going to just do it on a different card base. So I'm going to give everything a wash with my E31. So I'm going to use my chisel end, and I'm going to color the bottom quickly to give it a wash of color so I have something laid down, which reminds me of my younger days of using markers, and it was like, oh, I don't like because then the lines overlap. Well, if you give it a minute to dry, and we're going to be adding lines, so it's not going to really matter.
Interesting.
Okay, so we have a wash of
And
color
that
on
is
there.
E31.
That's E31. Then we're going to use E35, and we're going to outline the planks. So every wood on the table, you know, has a beginning and an end point. So I'm going to have the first beginning point right there at that edge that's given to us by the designer, and I'm going to pull it all the way out. Then I'm going to use my magnet ruler, because I didn't bring another one.
That comes with the Make Art Station.
And I'm just going to, it's not a very big surface. So I'm going to go down to underneath the vase, and I'm just going to do a quick line. Okay, so there's my line, quick.
Okay.
Now, we're going to add free-handed lines that add your texture to it.
And don't be intimidated by freehanding.
No.
Because I would be.
Because you don't want it perfect. If you sit down at a table, you're going to see that not every line of the wood is
Wood
okay.
floors are not.
No. So I'm going to start down here, and I'm just going to go all the way across, and I'm going to let my marker touch down, and then it's going to automatically pick up at different times. I don't know how it does it, but it does it. So I'm just going to go.
Yep.
Okay.
Wow.
So it's still got that continuity in there. Now we're going to add a darker color. We're going to add the E25. We're going to go over the top line, just free-handed. We're going to go over that one middle line, and I'm just going to do it free-handed. And then I'm just going to add in a few other random spots where I think it might be nice to have a few more lines.
Wow,
Always,
that's
always
cool.
moving my hand.
Cool. And it does look like a wood plank.
Yeah. Then I'm going to go back to my E31 because it's almost too much of a difference for me. And I'm going to go ahead and add lines with my E31. That's the color I started with. Because I want it to kind of tie in all together a little bit more.
Very faint, thin lines.
Yep. Now, if that's
Cool.
still not good, take your chisel end and make the whole thing darker.
I wish redoing my wood floor was this easy.
Right? The joke at our house is if anything is broken, well, just get your Copics out and fix it. Like that would not even do it.
Okay. Well,
So that,
be a nice try.
yeah, it would be. That is a wood grain. You can do it on floors. If I had a dog image and I wanted to do a floor and put the dog in the middle of the floor would go above it. I had the table go behind the vase to give it that depth. Then you want to make sure that you ground the vase. So I would recommend using the BV, the blue violet 20, and that, or you can use your darker brown, your E35, just to give it a shadow underneath. So I'm going to go not to the end, but kind of in the middle. And I'm just going to add a little bit of a shadow.
Wow.
But that just kind of grounds
It
it really
does.
quickly.
It is amazing. I'm not a Copic person at all. I think I own one. But every time I see it done, I think, oh, I might want to do this.
You might. That's what Janine keeps saying too. You make it look so easy.
Okay,
Well,
they need to know the 3 wood colors again.
okay. So that
it's
is right here.
Yep.
I started with E31. I went to E35. I went to E25. And then your shadow either go back to your dark E35, which is your midtone, or your BV20. Your BV20 is always a great go-to shadow color.
And what is that called? What's
Blue
the name of it?
Violet 20.
Which you would never think
No.
to use that color.
The blue violet is really,
It's a grayish,
yeah.
grayish blue.
Yep. And then when you put it on different things, it changes.
Wow.
I mean, like if I were to put it on brown, it's like this. If I were to put it on yellow, that
might be a fun
purple
color to have.
is really out. The BVs are one of the few colors that just mesh beautifully together.
Interesting. So the BV colors.
Yep, the BV colors. So I wanted to show you one more thing today, and that is what I really liked doing with this bowl. So this,
It's like a fish bowl.
it does, and it looks transparent almost.
It does.
So I used 2 colors, and then I, sprayed it with the distress. No, actually, I used I used my refill marker ink, and I flicked it the same way I would do it with distress re-inkers. But anyway, I wanted to show you the texture idea just using 2 markers. So I used my lightest color, my B21, and I just thought this was a great color for a fish bowl or a vase. And I did a quick wash of color, and I'm going to go ahead and just color the whole thing and not worry about the little bows down here. And I'm still going the direction of the bowl. All right, so there's one little layer of that. Then what I did was that I took my next color, and it's not a neighbor color. It's a B34. So I increased the intensity and the gray value both by different numbers. So I went from a 2 to a 3 and a 1 to a 4. So I know it's a darker color. So what I did was I added dots. And I went first to the dots that they gave me by the illustrator. And then I wanted to do the big dots. And even though it's basically a line, I still dot it. If you want smaller dots, get up on the tip of your marker, and it's always fun to see how small can I go.
That's a good tip too. So if you want smaller ones, use the hold your
Marker
marker
straight up and down. Now, if you are a little nervous when it comes to that, use your chisel end and use just the corner edge of the marker, and you will be surprised how uniform your dots
Look at that.
get.
That's a good way to use the chisel end, which you don't use very much, do you? Or do
Well, I'm using it more and more since I'm doing my own matting of
Well,
colored
that's
images.
good.
All right, so I basically have all the dots so I can see darker and lighter. So now I'm going to use my brush nib, and I'm just going to add a few more dots randomly throughout the vase, different sizes.
Wow, that really makes a difference.
It does make a difference.
Cool.
And then I'm going to grab the lighter shade, the B21, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add lighter dots.
We want you to teach a class. Penny and Katie and Kelly are our 3 Copic. They know a lot about Copics. Yeah, that's really fun.
Then
How
we can
easy.
go, yeah, and it's just 2 markers. And so it's just like, well, how else can I use it? Or what else
Wow.
can I do to it? So I think there is a depth there. Now, what
Definitely.
you can do is that you can take your colorless blender, and I'm going to use the chisel nib, and I'm going to add the opposite. I'm going to push color away to create yet a different dot and a bigger dot in different places. And let's see if I can. If you hold it down longer, you're going to get more alcohol. So these
Okay.
down here,
Yep.
you
just
can
barely
see.
see.
Because it's a very light color to begin with. And the neat thing is, if you decide that you don't like it, just take out your B21 and
Color over it.
put more dots on top of it. And you're going to get more texture every time you do that.
Every layer you add, it's going to
Yep.
add more texture. Wow, that is pretty cool.
So,
Pretty cool.
those are my tips and tricks for you for today.
Wow, I even learned something. Well, of course, I don't know much about Copics, but it's pretty amazing what you can do with these markers.
They're really fun. And I even, on the wood grain one, I really enjoyed finding my reds. Reds are really hard
That
to
red
color
there
with,
is
but I
gorgeous.
really like that red. So I just had fun and I played. You'll see on this one, besides using the splatter effect on the background, I started using the stencil that Katie had with the first set of,
It's the Wendy Vecchi.
yep, the Wendy Vecchi,
Thanks.
thank you, thanks. And I put in some pink and yellow.
So get out your stencils too.
Yeah, and start creating some
stamps.
backgrounds. And
Great job. Great job.
so there we
Okay,
go.
I think we'll go out and look at the Copic rack.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's
Yep.
full and it's really pretty.
It's very pretty.
And there's Chris running around. And Rhonda is here. And Gloria. Look at all of these pretty colors. They're $7.49 and they are online, or you can call. If you just want to add a few every so often to your stash. And again, you never throw these away.
No.
You refill them. And Penny has that service here for the store that she will refill your markers for $2 a marker.
Yep.
So don't throw them away. And you can change the nibs
Yep.
on them too.
Yep. Nibs have to be replaced every once in a while. Sometimes they just dry out.
Yeah.
So, but we can do that, get that taken care of, and
Okay, I think we're good for the day. Thank you very much, Penny.
Thank you.
Taught us a lot of great tips for Copics, and we will see everybody tomorrow. Thank you.
thank you.